Welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. I hope you've been enjoying the build. So we're going to go on now with part 3. As you know, I cut the front off in the last episode. I will have to trim up these inner wings here and actually brace them up, because I'm going to put coil-over shock absorbers on the front and bigger mountings for the shock absorbers, because they'll need it. They're going to take a lot more punishment than a road car ever would. What I've done now is I've got some measurements from Paul Jeffries, from his friend that has the 1310 hill climb car, and what we've done with this is we could put the split webbers in. There's a single webber going in at the moment, but we could go to the split webbers and the box will still be big enough. So I've marked it all up. I'm going to cut this bulkhead out, and then I will make the insert box where the carburettor body will sit. I could make it out of aluminium, but to be honest, the weight reduction is not that much. I mean, I probably need to lose quite a lot of kilos to make it worthwhile to make things lighter and lighter, but I probably will mention that word lighter, but it makes no real odds, not with my weight. And the other gentleman that's in with me is very tall. He's 6'3" and a bit, so neither of us are lightweights. Anyway, so we'll cut this bit out and I'll show that on video. So I've got the front all marked out. What I'm going to do now is cut this bulkhead and then I'll clean it all up and then start making the box for the actual webber to sit in. So we'll crack on. I may speed this up. Okay, so that's the box bit ready. So what I'll do now is I'll probably seam weld this, and then I'll start making the box and all these headlight bulbs, which seem to be throwing up a few comments. Richard from Rich Spec, we've mentioned before, please take a look at his channel. Very interesting stuff. He does a lot of high-tech stuff on, well, high-tech, actually getting lots of power out of these engines, these A-series engines, and other stuff he does. I don't know what he actually does for a living. I think he maybe does have a workshop or a garage. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out. Anyway, he believes I should get rid of these. Now, my feeling is that this aluminium grating is the holes. So 50% of this has got holes in it if you take it as a mass. Now, with the reduction that's going down through this bowl, I don't see that being an issue. So what I'm going to do is try and make a kind of, I haven't got a flow meter or a wind speed, and I'm certainly not going to have to buy one. I've got other stuff to buy. But what I'll do is I'll do like a Heath Robinson type idea to try and see what the flow is like. Like I said, I want to use PVC because PVC is smooth bore. It's very shiny, and that will stop wind resistance, if you like. It will give it better flow. Obviously, the cleaner and the less disruptive it is, the better the flow is going to be. This is exactly what doing the porting ahead is exactly all about. You're trying to get the best flow directly into the carburettor or into the fuel system. But what I'm going to do with these now, as you can see that's pretty flat now. I'll take this out so you can actually see it. Don't need that anyway, bugger. So the idea would be, when it's finished, if it works, if I try it with the flow, is I'll keep this chrome and I'll paint this into orange, the same as the orange on the livery of the Golf colours. So it'll be the whatever it is, baby blue plus the orange. And obviously keep all this intact, because I can use these adjustment screws on it that you normally adjust the headlight with for centering this into this ring. So what I'm going to do, this is, again, like I said, this was just a try, and you can see that it's got an edge in there which is not correct, but I did this, I wanted to try it. It was an end cut off piece and I wanted to try it. So what I'm going to do now is, you can see it's almost flat. I'm going to take this and put it into the English wheel and put a dish into it, a dome into it, like a headlight would be, and then this should fit perfectly inside here and give it a concave look to it as well. I think it'll look nicer. I think it'll be less hassle when we go to the track days, rather than having an open piece. I can't really say how they would say anything. It's not as if people are walking around or anything, but it just might help. But I will do a flow test and see. And my belief is that because you're reducing it anyway, the flow out the back, whether this is in or not, is not going to be a real issue. Not for the kind of speed we're talking about. Because you've already got a choke. If you think about it, you're going from this to half the size, less than half the size, so you're already choking the air down. But the idea is to get a stream. So if you really think about this, there's plenty of people who've got road cars that are running Webers in the box which is cut out here inside the bulkhead, with no extra air going in, so it's still sucking enough air, but the idea of this is force feeding the air. So without further ado, I'll take this to the English wheel and I'll dome it and show you what we're doing. Got the English wheel out, we're going to try it. Like I say, that's pretty flat just now, and when it goes into here, it's a little bit of a tight fit on the corners, but that could easily be done. But you can see that there's that edge inside it there all the way around. So what I'm going to try and do is put a dome in that so that it comes further forward and onto this. So I'll do that right now. Take this out and we'll try it. My dogs are around, so we'll just have to put this on here. So, come out, Sam. Good boy. So what I've done is to get a good dish on this to start with. This, I've actually going to hammer out the concave shape just with a rubber mallet. I have a special sandbag here, really good. You can get them from Frost Restorations. It's in a leather pouch, and you get your basic shape with any metal, and then put it through the English wheel and get it flattened out, or get all the creases out with the English wheel. So I'll just show you what I'm going to do to make a nice central piece. That'll give us the dish that I actually need, and we'll just clean it up with the English wheel. One of the problems I've found with making this piece up is that leaving that edge in there, which, as I said, it's only a test piece, and it'll make it more difficult. The other thing I could do to make this better rounded is I could shrink it, and that would actually bring a bow into it, but I don't need to do that, it's a bit over the top. So I'll bring you back once I've got this in a better shape. You can see there's already a dish on it now. it's getting there. As you can see, this has got a sunroof in it, and being glass, I mean on a track day car you can take a normal car, so, but obviously the glass is potentially, could easily break, and it actually is fairly weighty as well. I was quite surprised. So what I'm going to do is, it's all ready to come out. You can see the insides are already taken away, and there's the main frame there for it. What I'm now intending to do is take the glass out and use a piece of aluminium, or it could be steel depending on what, and I'll actually use it in the same way that this is in. And when I use it for the vent, I'll just hinge it at the back and then use this to lift up to allow the air to come in to cool the car down. And obviously it'll be completely flush like that, so there'll be no issues at all with drag or anything. So that's the plan on the vent system. That will save me making a scoop, which is and trying to actually put this back in and weld it back in, it'll be quite an issue. This is solid, hard plastic. The insert is still good, so there's no reason why that can't screw together. And as I say, we either put an aluminium section in it, and if that's too light, I'll use metal and put possibly a rolled edge on here to give it some stiffness, or I can actually rivet. I could actually rivet all the way down to give it some strength. So that's another job that has to be done. I've got the glass at the top, which is extremely heavy. I was surprised as to how heavy that glass is for that sunroof. I've taken the internal parts out, and now this has obviously had some glue in it, and you can see that that's out as well. The problem being now is, as you can see, this is quite weak, especially here on the back. Not so bad on the side, but that's quite weak, so you'd have to put some kind of strengthener in it. It'll be very hard to put a panel in there. It would be very hard to disguise it. So my thinking now is to keep this in place, because it's very strong. Keep that in place, and actually build a metal top to go in here. And like I said, I can actually make it so that it comes up the way. So when we want to get some cold air into the car, we can use some over-center straps here which clip down, and the roll cage we'll put in will have a diagonal across anyway, so there's no chance of coming through there if anything happened. After all, it is a track day car, and track day cars, some track day cars have sunroofs in them and so on, so I don't see it being an issue, especially with it being metal again now. Maybe I might have to turn this around to hinge it, but if not, I can make up some kind of system. If for some reason they say it's not correct, then we can come with another method and fill the roof in, but I'll check on the rules first. So that's another done there. I've kept all the screws, and it should be good because it's nice and flush. So I'll start making up this panel, or this box section. I've got the measurements here. I'll start making that, and like I said, I'll make it out of metal because it's much easier to weld the tabs on it and weld the flanges on it, or bend the flanges on it and so on. I don't have a facility here for aluminium. I have a place where I can go to, where I learned to do TIG welding, and but with metal. I didn't use any aluminium TIG, but I did do a 3-day course on TIG welding, but never got around to buying the TIG because a good quality one is so expensive. The little ones you get, the reasonably priced ones, don't do that great a job. You need to be pretty experienced to use TIG when the price ranges in the kind of DIY. DIY TIGs are not really that hard to be honest, not that good to be honest. Anyway, so I'll crack on with starting to make this box, and then I'll bring you back on part 4 while I'm making the box. I'll show how I do it, how I make it up, and how it's going to fit. And one other little tilt on that is, normally the box is made so it's a solid box into the car. In this situation, I'm going to actually make it so it's got an opening on the internal part of the car, so the MED sponge filter can be taken off from inside the car, as opposed to trying to put your hands into the back of the box to unscrew it, which makes it difficult. So as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and thanks for watching in. Bye.